Oh!
Gilli Pong.
Analyses Atheism.
Hello, hello, hello. Gilli Pong is back and he's gonna test out some stuff. Ding, 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 ding. Ice, ice, baby. Ding, 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 ding. Ice, ice, interferometry. Interferometry. Here we go. We are going for none other than the instinct itself. We are trusting the algorithms to keep us up to date. I have decided to go back to Richard Dawkins and Lawrence Krauss to discuss these dialogues between these so wonderful intellectuals. Let's just nail them. Let's go in it. I'm not going to nail them.
So you've answered my question in a way that I find very surprising, but I'm rather glad of it. Because what you're saying is that all the matter in the universe, all the protons and neutrons,
Let's go for HD. I don't know why I have this crappy
electrons
thing.
could be collapsed into a point. And all you're doing is you're crushing them and removing the space between them.
Yeah, and I'm saying
Sorry, I have to just go back. I'm trying to catch up.
particles called quarks, which in the canonical picture have no volume, and photons, so they would break up into their constituent particles if you crush them small enough.
Okay, so you've answered my question in a way that I find very surprising, but I'm rather glad of it. Because what you're saying is that all the matter in the universe, all the protons and neutrons, electrons you can let, could be collapsed into a point. And all you're doing is you're crushing them and removing the space between them.
Yeah, and I'm saying, you know, you don't have to go to that level of potential absurdity. We can go to a scale where we think we understand the laws of physics. And in fact, I wrote a book called Atom, where we can, in our conventional picture, everything that is now in all 100 billion galaxies that are in our universe, and all the matter and radiation.
100 billion galaxies. Is that some algorithm that is like 1, 2, 3, 4? It's like these numbers. And I love the fact that it's like, it used to be like, there are 1,000 gods that I am an atheist towards. I do not believe in those deities. But then you go to Neil deGrasse Tyson is like, there's 18,000 gods that I don't believe in. He's like channeling his inner deGrasse Cosby. It's like these numbers are just like, once it was like 100%, I'm gonna do the 100%, and then suddenly it became, I'm gonna do 110%. Now it's suddenly become like, I'm gonna go 1,000%. I'm gonna go 1,000% on this multiple, and I'm gonna get it. And these numbers are just like, these are number guys. These are the guys who are discovering numbers or creating the concepts of calculus, how they phrase it. Like, where do numbers come from and all that stuff?
Radiation at some time that we can.
100 billion galaxies. That's where we were. And I'm not telling you what I'm drinking. I ran out of cacao and tea. It was just hot water with a little bit of mud in it. It's really healthy.
Can define where the laws of physics still work was contained in a region smaller than the size of an atom. I mean, that's unfathomable, but nothing stops it from happening. And there's no force that can ultimately stop that. For certain objects, there are. Gravity is weak enough. And that was, if you saw the movie Oppenheimer, one of the things Oppenheimer was famous for, well, among physicists, was the first realization that if you had
Oppenheimer is like they have scientists giving out brochures, like at the Passion of Christ. All these churches came and started giving everyone, come to church, come to church. And this is like after Oppenheimer, come see my study, come read this study, give it a like on the public science nature.com. I need your likes.
A star that was big enough that even the nuclear forces would not stop it collapsing into what later now we call a black hole. And that was, and so, but there are only special circumstances. The sun, when it stops having fuel, won't be a black hole because the nuclear forces are strong enough to hold the star together, and electromagnetism is hard. But if
Are you getting it? Are you getting what he's grasping? He's grasping it. He understands it in his mind's eye. He sees it. Small as an atom. You can't move it. You can't relocate it. And then there's the collapsing star that becomes a black hole. From the micro to the macro. To the mega micro. Mega. Ultimate micro. To the macro universe. Macro. Far, far away. Same theories. Because like when we look at it at a telescope, it is exactly the same size as the thing that we're looking in a microscope. So it's like a inception. Science inception. Oh.
you have a big enough mass, nothing can beat gravity. Big enough mass, and yeah. So
yes, so just the sheer amount of matter, crushing it
and here, if that didn't make you upset or confused, let me try this.
He wants him to be
it's
upset.
even worse, because as the matter gets crushed, it gets hotter and hotter. And actually, in that primordial atom of the Metra, or the one I talked about that book, the actual total amount of stuff is far more than
Define stuff. Let's define stuff.
the sum of everything we now see, by factors of a million. Namely, almost all of the energy.
It's like if I would just write a book and just put words there, go to a dictionary and just start throwing things out there, I think I would probably get a following, because people, they like to pat themselves on the back because they grasp these concepts so well. It would be kind of like being a toddler on a piano and accidentally making a $500,000 people buy this book because it's like word jazz. Concepts of black holes, and they're crunching in a million and a million and a million and a million and a million factor. I coughed. There were so many millions. I coughed because of the millions.
And stuff far more than the sum of everything we now see, by factors of a million. Namely, almost all of the energy and stuff in that primordial atom has been laid.
Primordial atom. Now the atom has an age factor. Time is connected to the atom.
They're dissipated by the expansion, because the universe has done work as it's expanding and it's lost energy. And so the universe now, with its mere 100 billion galaxies, if you want to add up the total energy of the observed universe in matter, it's a small fraction of the total energy that was contained in that primordial atom. It was so much bigger than, you could get rid of all the matter we now see in the universe, and the amount of energy in that region would be almost the same. It's really, the fact that we can even think of those things with a straight face is remarkable to me. And
it's like a homeless guy coming to you, and he's talking to you, and he's telling you everything. And you're like, oh, He's telling you, like all these atoms and these quarks and atoms and black holes, and they're condensed and stretching and squishing and all this stuff, and it's primordial atom, and you know, and then they just go on stage, wear these kinds of clothes, and then suddenly, yeah, these are the intellectuals. Let's watch them, listen to them. They probably know the keys to the universe.
And until the 1980s, no one did. I mean, the great change, and I got involved in that, was to think that with some seriousness, we could apply the physics we understand on fundamental scales to explain the universe on larger scales. It's the ultimate chutzpah and arrogance.
Chutzpah and arrogance. Epstein, Krauss. Information is conserved.
But physicists are very arrogant, so it's okay.
Okay, well, I had thought, and I think I'm now wrong, I had thought that there was something changed in the laws of physics itself that made it possible. But you're now telling me you literally can crush all the matter.
Yeah. And
Okay.
but when you get to a single point, we know.
He's just wrong. They're all wrong. And when they realize it, they're gonna be like, oh, yeah, it was all wrong. All the theories I had were just theories and concepts and ideas. Huh.
We know the laws of physics must change,
Yeah,
and we know, and people like me, I think most scientists would say, it doesn't collapse to a single point. That some new law of understanding gravity will intervene.
It collapsed to the size of a soccer ball.
Or even a soccer ball is amazing, or a baseball, or even a solar system. The densities are unimaginably great.
Then why try to imagine them if you can't even imagine them? The density of the universe was like a baseball. It was so hot and dense. Brian Cox came out of it, started singing, "Today is gonna be the day Big Bang's gonna kick our ass." It's just intellectual masturbation, par excellence, on stage, two guys holding a microphone very awkwardly, never held a microphone in their lives, trying to hold the conversation, and picture of this Santa Claus Darwin between them, pointing everyone to that these are the experts, these are the intellectuals of our time.
Unimaginable.
Yes.
But let me.
But he's like having a brain fart. He doesn't even begin to understand like Dawkins. He's like, yes, I don't even know what to ask anymore. I've lost myself in the concept of the concept. I feel like I'm in Interstellar after I've gone into the black hole, and I'm outside of time. I need to find the next waterhole, or the next partner to mate with. This is too complicated.
Point out that even that, if that may seem so ridiculous that we wouldn't talk about it, or it's not worth thinking about, even the time when the universe was 1 second old, and the universe was somewhat bigger than our.
Define a second. Do you mean the relative second, or the irrelative second? Which second do you want to use as a baseline for that argument, or for that information line of words you're trying to convey from your consciousness? Tell me.
Solar system, the whole, we can actually predict what that weird, incredibly hot, dense system that was 10 billion degrees would be doing with physics we can measure in the laboratory.
In the laboratory on Earth, where we have gravity and everything, we can do it. We can figure out what happened. CERN is doing it. We have found out to make all the atoms collide to see what happened.
And we predict the abundance of light elements precisely. One of the things that Jim Peebles won the Nobel Prize for is that we can extrapolate, we can measure in the laboratory and extrapolate back to the universe as 1 second old and make predictions that over 10 orders of magnitude agree with observations. So we know that even that incredibly hot, dense state, which is almost unimaginable.
We now know, but we don't know. That's the thing. It's a bad question. We don't know. We're not sure, and that's what scientists are all about, to not know, to be comfortable in not knowing.
Why don't they just choke on their own bullshit?
Imaginable. We can test and that our ideas are correct, and they're correct.
It is remarkable.
It is.
Remarkable.
You want to change the subject now.
Yeah, it's too hot.
You've written in your
Getting this hot, tense feeling in my gut. I can't quite describe what's going on. Let's change the subject.
podcast and things about
What?
your podcast and things
Podcast
about
and things.
the politicization of science and the subversion of journals like Nature and Scientific American well, talk a bit about that.
Well, look, part of what's driven you and I for much of our careers is the need to have people understand the process of science. It involves two important things. That nothing is sacred. There's nothing that can't be questioned.
I therefore question everything that you have said up until this point. Therefore, I will be the ultimate scientist. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. Not even the concept of God, I tell you.
Okay? There's no such idea that's... And heresy is not heresy. Those are the two characteristics that...
Heresy is not heresy.
There's no evil. And there's nothing sacred. That's how we science our way about.
With their chutzpah. I need a shower.
both you and I find so reprehensible about organized religion that has led us to try and...
What is science other than organized religion in the things that you don't know and know? You don't know what you know. We know that we don't know. Therefore, we don't know what we know. So the evidence that we base everything on our scientific data can change because we have observed it on a microscopic scale. We put a little thing to watch it, and it changed. But just because we watched it. So if I think about something, it changes. So the data can't be consistent because the world view of the scientist looking at it changes it. I'm short-circuiting here. I'm just losing my complete sanity listening to this hawk, bull, crap, stuff.
and help people open their minds beyond that. And so it's tragic to me that those two characteristics are infiltrating too much the academia and the scientific community. The idea that there's some things you cannot say, that Richard Dawkins cannot say that there are two sexes, that's heresy, and he should be banned, or he should lose awards for saying something, when in fact the whole point of science and the whole point of education is to make you uncomfortable first, and science only proceeds. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine who's here, who drove me up here. Only proceeds by a dialectic.
So he's been talking for like hours before he went on stage. This is the problem with science. They can't even be consistent. Some scientist says that there are 50 genders,
and they're like, no, that's the wrong word to use. There are only two sexes. Sex and gender are not the same. You're just playing dialectics with me or using words that mean other things. But I have another gender. My plastic surgeon told me I have to get $120,000 to become a woman.
Whenever I get a letter from people, from not scientists, I get letters every day. It used to be letters, now it's emails, telling me that they've been working for 20 years and they have a theory of everything, okay? You know right away it's suspect. Because unfortunately, people have this picture of Einstein.
this guy is suspect. He's speaking about himself. If he would get an email from himself about these theories that he's had, he would look at them and like, I don't quite trust this guy.
And working alone, and he wasn't really working alone, in a room developing general relativity is not the norm. Science proceeds by dialectic. I say something, you challenge it. You criticize me and try and cut to the quick what I'm saying. Because that's the way the scientific community works. Because only if I can convince you, only if I can survive the test of experiment and rational debate, will my ideas survive and be worth talking about. So it's essential that there be debate, discussion, and that no idea should be above attack or accepted without evidence. And what we...
But you still have to define the evidence. The evidence that they hold right now, like the evidence of Penrose, is like looking at everything. It's hot and dense and it's about to explode into the Big Bang. But we don't know. There's this gravity part. Can't quite figure it out. And it's like staring them in the face. It's like a huge elephant in the room. God. And they're like, the trunk of God is coming around, taking her. They're like throwing it away. Can't get it. I'm not saying they should stop looking. Like, when is the evidence enough evidence for the skeptical mind? Which the whole theory of science is based on. Being a skeptic of the information that you're even getting. Verifying the information over time. Getting enough data to be able to analyze it. Using a quantum conceptual tool. Future conceptual tool to analyze the data in order for us to comprehend it. It's like they are the black holes of intelligence. These spheres of self-flatulence and self-importance, sitting like this in their chair with their cocktails and their fedoras, talking about, I want to be like an atom. Like, I want to be like a quark in an atom, you know? Everybody laughs because they get it. Let's go off into some satanic ritual abuse. Yeah, there's no meaning to it. We can just do it. That's what I see. It's like nothing is sacred. There's nothing that is called a heresy. But there is evil in the world. And the ones that are propping these intellectuals up are the main forces of evil. Hence the Epstein connection. There's a funding happening going on, funding everyone looking at an interferometry picture of a black hole. It was accidentally just a bad selfie of a butthole from one of the scientists to get the grants from Epstein or whatever. And it's so blatant. And then they're trying to talk about things on stage and they're not trying to divert your attention, like doing a Sam Harris. I will throw in the credulity here just to make you think a little bit. While I'm doing that, I'm moving the things around and making the subject a little bit different. It's like a magician, you know. And Matt Dillahunty is this magician. I don't know. And I'm not happy. That's why we have science. Science. I believe in science. I believe in science. Thank you so much for watching this video. I don't know if I will make it through 1 hour and 22 minutes of this. This is taking up time of my life. And it's depleting itself. And remember, soul. Is soul time? It's a good question. The passing of time. Your memories. Your actions. The pattern. The event horizon of your soul. Your interactions with other people, your actions during the day that are making your soul feel bad versus the things that make your soul feel good. If you look at it like that, you start to understand it, right? Start getting it. Duh. Remember when you stopped wanting to dance? When did you stop wanting to dance? When did you stop wanting to sing? When were you not interested in stories anymore? It's like from this Monsters Inc. movie, this guy on the floor trying to get you to come dance. And the Monster Inc. guys look. You have to enjoy this life. You have to have some humor. We can't listen to these black holes of intellect devouring all that is love and beautiful and kindness and happiness and intelligence in the world, and take away from them these tools that they're using, these platforms, and focus on improving, being a little bit better than you were. Stop believing in atheism and believing in a non-soul and believing in negativity and that there's no meaning to it all. Don't go there. It's a maze that you can never get out of. But thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, comment, do everything to help this raise up the algorithm so I can do more videos like this. They are all for free. I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to help. Okay.
Gilli Pong.
Analyses atheism.